Party people, it's your boy Voltron Supreme coming at you with another video. So how many of you guys know George Jetsons? So it's his birthday. Happy birthday, George. So the Jetsons was a cartoon that came out way back in the days, you know, way before many of you guys were born, and then it was relaunched again in the 80s. And one of the things that they did was they made predictions about the future, you know, sort of like, hey, by around this time we should be on a 2-hour work week, a 3-hour work week. And something unusual happened, something strange happened, in that instead of lessening the hours seem to be increasing. And what I say that, you know, if you're from the 80s, the 70s, you know, you realize that, hey, at that time the typical work hour was 9 to 5. And the reason behind that was that, hey, you work 8 hours to play and 8 hours to sleep. And then suddenly we're starting to have more involvement with, say, minimum wage laws and, you know, minimum salaries and all that stuff. And things began to change. Stuff started to change. Things exactly weren't the same anymore. And people were trying to find ways to circumvent these laws. You know, they started to say, hey, you know, we're going to put people on salaries. And what happens when you put people on salaries? You can now have them work longer. And suddenly this 9 to 5 work week became 8 to 5. 8 to 5 work week. So they managed to squeeze in more hours into someone's work week and still give them the same amount to pay. And then with the people who were on a hourly pay, you know, people who were getting paid per hour, what they started to do was like, hey, when it's slow, let's have them clock out, you know, or let's say they're 8 to 5, they come in at 8, it's slow, we'll tell them to wait, clock in an hour later, or take an extended lunch, you know, stuff to get them to clock out. In certain cities, it's illegal. I know, like in Edmonton, you can't do that, but in many places here in the United States, it's legal. So, you know, I've worked in places where people were scheduled to work from 8 to 5, you know, and then come to find out that they would come in at 8 and then told to clock in at 10. And the company, instead of offering them their full-time hours as they were told they would get, would maybe working 20 hours a week. And many people would struggle, you know, because they're not making their 40 hours a week, which when they signed up for full-time is what they were expecting. So how does this link in with Developer Dao? So Developer Dao is about Web3. It's about empowering the creators. It's about empowering the actual people, decentralization, because a lot of these rules that we see is coming because of how everything is centralized. You know, you got a few people in power changing the rules, and the rules really don't benefit those who are affected the most. Web3 changes that. You know, DeFi is making it possible for people who normally would not have access to banking, be able to do financial transactions. Look at South America. Let's look at creators. Creators can make their artwork, but people that are making the money isn't the artist. It's, you know, it's the big centralized system that keeps all the money. So the Developer Dao is creating a situation where they are promoting Web3. They're promoting the developers who promote Web3. So it's a good thing, and maybe, you know, 40 years from now we can see George Jetsons' future become a reality. Anyway, guys, until next time, peace out, safe and best.